So, Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for ISKCON Seshadripuram Outpost Bangalore West program, the Bhakti Southern program, the Sunday evening feast program. So, we will be continuing with our Bhakti, with our class on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We have now into the 5th chapter and we have completed verse 1 to 2 earlier. Now we will be taking up 3 through 6 today, I suppose. So we will be hearing from His Grace Padmanabha Achyuta Prabhu. We have heard many classes from him. Wonderful speaker with good realization. So eager to hear from His Grace Padmanabha Achyuta Prabhu, verses 3 to 6. Hare Krishna. Welcome Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, thanks for the opportunity, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can we?
Yes, please.
Thanks. Hare Krishna, devotees. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya 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 Radha Madhava Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai Hare Krishna Jai Sunday program ki Jai Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. As Vidrava Prabhu mentioned, We are in fifth chapter, and third sloka onwards. We are supposed to discuss. So let me share the screen. I hope the screen is visible. Am I audible?
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. न्यायः सा नित्यसन्न्यासी यो नाधुस्तिना काङ्क्षति निर्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्ध प्रमुह्यति. Jnane should be known. Saha, he, Nitya, always, Sannyasi, renouncer, Yaha, who, Na, never, Dusti, abodes, Na, nor, Kankshati, desires, Nirdvanta, Nirdvantvaha, free from all dualities. He, certainly, Mahabaho, O mighty armed one, Sukham, happily, Bandhat, from bondage, Pramuchyati, is completely liberated. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty armed Arjuna. But one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for the results of his action. Such a renouncer, dedicated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in his relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is qualitatively and quantitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to the whole. Knowledge that one is one in quality yet different in quantity is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, having nothing to aspire to or lament over. There is no duality in his mind because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from the platform of dualities, he is liberated even in this material world. We'll read a couple of slokas. So all slokas emphasize on the same point. We move to fourth sloka. Sankhya yogo pratak balaha pravaddanti na panditaha ekam api astitaha samyak ubayor vindate palam. Sankhya, analytical study of the material world. Yoga, work in devotional service. Pratak, different. Balaha, the less intelligent. Pradodanti, say. Na, never. Panditaha, the learned. Ekam, in one. Api, even. Astitaha, being situated. Samyak, complete. Ubayoha, of both. Vindate, enjoys. Phalam, the result. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the result of both. Purport. The aim of the analytical study of the material world is to find the soul of existence. The soul of the material world is Vishnu, or the super soul. Devotional service to the Lord entails service to the Supreme Soul. One process is to find the root of the tree, and the other is to water the root. The real student of Sankhya philosophy finds the root of the material world, Vishnu, and then in perfect knowledge engages himself in the service of the Lord. Therefore, in essence, there is no difference between the two, because the aim of both in Vishnu, the both is Vishnu. Those who do not know the ultimate end say that the purpose of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not the same, but one who is learned knows the unified aim in these different processes. So we'll go to fifth sloka. Yat Shankya hi प्राप्यते स्थानं तद योगेर अपि गम्यते एकं सांख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति yet what Sankhya hi, the means of Sankhya philosophy, prapyate is achieved, sthanam place, that yoga hi by devotional service, api also, gamyate one can attain, ekam one, Sankyam analytical study, cha and yogam action in devotion, cha and yeah, one who pashyati sees, saha he pashyati actually sees, one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. Purport. The real purpose of philosophical research is to find the ultimate goal of life. Since the ultimate goal of life is self-realization, there is no difference between the conclusions reached by the two processes. By Sankhya philosophical research, one comes to the conclusion that a living entity is not a part and parcel of the material world, but of the Supreme Spirit whole. Consequently, the spirit soul has nothing to do with the material world. His actions must be in some relation with the Supreme. When he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is actually in his constitutional position. In the first process, Sankhya, one has to become detached from matter, and in the devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. Factually, both processes are the same, although superficially one process appears to involve detachment and the other processes appears to involve attachment. Detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same. One who can sees things as they are. Here the fifth sloka purport ends. If there is a time, we will move to sixth sloka. So let me do pranam mantras, then we will get into today's class. Om Ajnana Timurandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chashkurulitam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadanti Swapadantisham Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhascha Kripas Nindubheva Cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschasya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Once again, welcome to Sunday program. So, as Rudra Prabhu mentioned, we are in 5th chapter and we read 3rd sloka, 4th sloka, and 5th sloka. And if there is a time, the 6th sloka is a concluding message of what we are going to discuss. So, before getting into the verses, let us see what we should know before getting into this chapter as well as this sloka. So, before getting into this chapter, we should be mindful. We are done with second chapter, which gives the very elementary knowledge or preliminary knowledge. What is the meaning of soul and entanglement of this material body and buddhi yoga. So all these things from second chapter. And from third chapter, a person come to the platform of knowledge. And when they come to that knowledge process, there is no individual, this bodily attached duty is required. One will come to that conclusion. And from chapter 4, what we have discussed, in that Lord telling Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. So without knowledge, one cannot understand, what is what as it is. And also in the 4th chapter, from 16th verse to 18th verse, Krishna glorifies, jnana, and speaks of action in inaction and inaction in action, all those things. And from, in 4.41, Krishna glorifies jnana and renunciation. And from 4.42, he orders Arjuna to fight. So these are the background, to getting into this 5th chapter. And what is the mood of Arjuna when at the time of, the first sloka, which we discussed in the last class, and Arjuna's understanding up until this point. So why he raised, that first question? So why he raised that question, or why this? How the 5th chapter one should understand? So the position of Arjuna is like this. That means he thinks renunciation in knowledge involves cessation or ends of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. That is the first stage. The next stage, but if one performs work in devotional service, as Krishna suggests, then how is work stopped? So he's telling, okay, ma manusmara yuddhacha. So if I am working, then how come it will be a renunciation? Next, work and renunciation appears to be incompatible or mismatched to Arjuna at this point of time. So Arjuna thinks at this point of time, that means before getting into 5th chapter, his mood is like this. Work and renunciation appears to be somewhere it is not matching. So you renounce your work, Krishna says, as well as ma manusmara yuddhacha. So Krishna says both to me. So I could not understand what exactly Krishna says now. So that is because of lack of knowledge, from Arjuna's position. Work in full knowledge is non-reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. So this is what, the lacks. And the chapter opens with Arjuna's question similar to 3rd chapter. And see, this 5th chapter is the expanded or extended, chapter from the 3rd chapter, Karma Yoga. 5th chapter is Karma Yoga in Krishna consciousness. So here the first question, what we have discussed in the last class, Arjuna starts like this: whether Karma Yoga or Karma Sannyasi. So should I renounce my work, or should I renounce, all my work? Right? Karma Yoga and Tyaga, Karma Tyaga. Karma Yoga and Karma Tyaga. So, and Krishna will answer Arjuna's question and will explain the process of achieving liberation through Karma Yoga in greater depth than chapter 3. In chapter 3 also we discussed the same, but more detail we are going to discuss in the fifth chapter. So the fifth chapter, first three slokas deals with karma yoga is same as sannyasa. First three slokas, that is what the first sloka. There is no much point, for today's discussion about the third verse, because already Vidura Prabhu covered in the last class about karma yoga is same as sannyasa. But what is recommended by Krishna? Krishna recommended is than sannyasa, you choose karma yoga. Okay, and also why karma yoga is better than renouncing the act or karma. That is mentioned, or we can understand. See, the first six verses is useful for us to understand only for two things. What are those two things? One is, as I mentioned, karma yoga is same as sannyasa. That is the first question one can understand. And why karma yoga is better. So why karma yoga is better, it is mentioned in 4th to 6th sloka. And first sloka to third sloka, karma yoga is same as sannyasa. So now again, this confusion. So let us get into, right? Nishkama karma yoga, easier than renouncing the work, right? So we have discussed karma and nishkama karma. That means thinking of Krishna, that ma manusmara yudhyacha, then that particular act will become nishkama karma. So this is so easier than renouncing the work. So about this renouncing the work, more elaborately we will discuss in 6th sloka. And let us, directly get into the third sloka. In the third sloka, the main theme is one who works in devotion is a true sannyasi and easily achieves liberation. So here, karma yoga is equated with sannyasa. How come it is a sannyasa? Definition of true sannyasi: neither hates nor desires fruits and is free from all dualities. So there is, for Krishna consciousness devotee, there is no hate. What is that? Neither hates nor desires on fruits. Fruits are, that means result of his activities, and there is no duality also. So this karma yoga is mentioned as sannyasa. And then Krishna consciousness person is a true sannyasi. How? He is a grahastha. Vidura Prabhu is a grahastha. Many senior devotees are grahastha. How they could be call it as a sannyasi? It is a question for Arjuna as well as for us. How they could be addressed as a sannyasi? Because he has perfect transcendental knowledge, that is, soul and Krishna are one in quality and but different in quantity. So here, in terms of quantity, in terms of quality, one should understand very often. Prabhupada gives this example in many places. Suppose, let us take a gold bar and break that gold bar into so many pieces. And qualitatively, same. That small particle also gold, right? But that is not that, that wholesome, that bar gold, from where it has, come out. That is the understanding here. That incorrect transcendental knowledge is oneness in quantity with Krishna, because a part can never be equal to the whole. This gold example, Prabhupada gives in many places. And then result of perfect knowledge, one becomes full in himself. Full in himself implies no desires, hatred, lamentation for the results of action. Vidura Prabhu explained in the last class about more on Mayavada philosophy, right? So here there is no duality in mind, because whatever he does is for Krishna, thus liberated even in material world. So that equates the person could be a sannyasi. One more example also, we can take it for further understanding of this third verse. From the purport, which we have read, there is no duality in his mind, because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from the platform of dualities, he is liberated. even in this material world. Say, for example, my father gives 2 lakhs rupee to me to go and give it to so and so person. I go very happily and hand over that 2 lakh rupee, and they treated me very opulently. Oh, you are so and so person's son. You are most welcome, and they honored me very well, and they are given so much of very opulent prasad and everything. And the same act, my father told me to go and give this 2 lakhs to another person. The moment I get into that house, immediately the way they treated me, intolerable or so mischievous way. Immediately they tied me into some pole and they have beaten me here and there, and whoever is there in that house coming and beating me. Then immediately I am so worried about my father and coming and lamenting with my father. See, you told me, and not even you told me. So see why it is happening. So I am taking so personal, right? I forget that I am only a instrument behind my father's instruction, right? So if I am mindful when so opulent treatment is being given, I should hand over to my father in the mood of I'm only instrument. When so distress and unexpected result, that also I should hand over. Then that is called real renunciation. If the person in that mood, right? And even there are so many other sannyasas are there for further understanding the sannyasi. There is a kshetra sannyasi, and Prabhupada always quotes, until you have a wonderful serving wife, devotee wife, no need sannyasa. And even Guru Maharaj mentioned in many places, one devotee asked, Guru Maharaj, I cannot do any seva to temple, how other devotees are doing, pravachan and coming to temple and honoring prasadam, and then participating in Rath Yatra and all the congregational activities. I could not do. Guru Maharaj given straight away the solution. No problem. You just bring up your children in Krishna consciousness. You follow at your house. That is more than sufficient, right? So this is the real meaning of how a person could be coming to the platform of renounced order in true Krishna consciousness sense. So this is background about renunciation of work and karma yoga. And now we are going to discuss the second topic. The second topic is why karma yoga is better. First thing is what is sannyasa and why karma yoga is better than sannyasa. And now the remaining 3 verses will give more meaning to us and as well as to Arjuna. Why karma yoga is better, right? The 6th verse is the concluding one. We have to understand the 4th and 5th verse. So already we read the 4th and 5th verse purport. And here let us understand what is the theme of 4th and 5th. So what is the common theme between 4th and 5th verse? Karma yoga and sannyasa are same. Again, Arjuna breaks his head. Karma yoga and sannyasa both are same. How come it is? Because both lead to spiritual realization and have same conclusion. Both leads to the same spiritual realization and have the same conclusion. How? Let us get into this. So there are 2 parts. One is Sankhya and another one is Karma Yoga. Devotional service are the same. Both leads to devotional service. So here Prabhupada, the yoga. Prabhupada yoga means he mentions devotional service. The Mayavada philosophy says, totally different. That is, we will keep it at the end. Now, the 4th and 5th sloka common thing says, because the common aim is Vishnu. What is the purport of 5.4 says, the common, whether Sankhya philosophy or Karma Yoga, both should go hand in hand, right? Basically, the Sankhya means some doubt may be there for some people. Sankhya means which deals with 3 items. One is matter, and another one is spirit, and third one is controller of this spirit. These 3 things deals with Sankhya, and many places it is mentioned that analytical study. who sees things as they are. One sees Sankhya, analytical study, and devotional service on the same level in terms of aim. The purpose is same, the goal is same. It is like this. Somebody is climbing on the stairs to reach 10th floor. Somebody is coming by by lift to reach the 10th floor. Their aim is same, to reach the 10th floor. Okay, so the aim of analytical study of material world, find the soul of existence. Soul of material world, Vishnu, devotional service entails service to the super soul. The aim is important. So here the analogy, Prabhupada mentions, one is to find the root of a tree first, theoretically. That is Sankhya philosophy. Okay, finding that root also very important. No? Then otherwise we will be landing with okay, where to land, whether to land on the leaf, whether to land on understanding the branch, whether to understand the stem of a plant, like that, right? Other is to water the root. Prabhupada mentions this analogy, devotional service, Sankhya and devotional service. So as I mentioned earlier, one is climbing through steps and another one is climbing through lift. Prabhupada mentioned in previous discussion how much surrender one could be. That is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So this realization, the one who is mindful with Bhagavan realization, he will get so much of blissful and all those things that is connected in the 6th sloka. So now here we should be mindful what is the essence of this Sankhya philosophy and Karma Yoga, right? So that is important. That is important. Those who do not know the ultimate end say that the purpose of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not the same, but one who is learned knows the unifying aim in these different processes. See, this Sankhya philosophy and Karma Yoga, as I mentioned, the example, climbing with the stairs and coming by lift. But both the aim is to reach the 10th floor, right? So the intelligent people will understand. So both are trying for the same. But unintelligent people thinks, no, these two are different like that. Fine. Now we will get into the 6th sloka. I think we have time. So let me share the screen once again. So now we understood what is Sankhya philosophy and what is Karma Yoga. The intelligent person will accept. Yes, both are same. The unintelligent person will be still doubtful. Oh, which is best, or which is what is what, like that. So let me share screen 6th sloka. I hope the screen is visible. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So this is the concluding message, the difference between sannyasa and karma yoga, and Sankhya versus karma yoga, like that. Now there is a twist before getting into this verse. Now Krishna says, get into this karma yoga. As I mentioned earlier, there is a lift in this Kali Yuga. I am advising, get into this and enter into this process. Hare Krishna. So let us see what this concluding verse says. Sanyastu mahabaho dukkam aptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma na chirena adigacchati. Sanyasaha, word to word translation. Sanyasaha, the renounced order of life. Tu, but Mahabaho, O mighty armed one. Dukkham, distress. Aptam, afflicts one with. Ayogataha, without devotional service. Yoga yuktaha, one engaged in devotional service. Munihi, a thinker. Brahma, the supreme. Nachirena, without delay. Adigachati, attains. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Verily renouncing all activities, yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy, but a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. So here the purport I am going to put it in the form of tabular column. So the purport is little bigger one. So the same is summarized in a tabular column with whatever. So why I took this verse as a summary. From this tabular column we can understand what exactly the meaning of the first three slokas as well as the second three slokas, that is 4, 5, 6. All this deals with what. So one by one we can discuss. So I will keep it open and then I will share the screen. So again I will share the screen. Right. I hope the screen is visible. Hare Krishna.
Not yet.
Not yet, Prabhu. Yes, now it is.
Now it is visible
Yes.
for all.
Yes, Prabhu.
Here it is showing something. I hope it is visible to all. Otherwise, I have sent it in a WhatsApp also in a Krishna Garden group. So we can discuss, the purport of the sixth as well as the whole summary of all these verses what we have discussed. So as we all know, first 1 to the third verse discussed about how Karma Yoga is equivalent to Sannyasa, and the Sankhya philosophy versus and Karma Yoga. So let us understand in detail. Let us see. Let us understand this tabular column. There is a verse and verse numbers, and then renunciation and Mayavadi sannyasis. Renunciation or Mayavadi sannyasis, and in the another side, work in devotion and Vaishnava sannyasis, right? And before getting into this difference between these two, already Vidura Prabhu also mentioned in the previous class how the Mayavadis thinks. Mayavadi thinks, this is an example from Prabhupada. See, the Mayavadis relate Krishna like this. See, there is a sunlight which is all pervaded. Sunlight is here and it is there in your house, it is there in somebody's house, it is outside the house, or some extent it is inside the house. All these things, the Mayavadis will speculate. And they will not accept, there is a Sachidananda Vigraha Rupa. That means we say, in Vaishnava philosophy, we say, you come to temple and you can have a deity worship. The Mayavadi says no, this roadside I am also God, this roadside this dog also God. They speculate like that. So Prabhupada used this example. See, when there is a sunlight pervaded all over the this place, when you use this magnifying glass, then that is so focused and the purpose of that light is so focused in that particular place. That is the meaning of Sachidananda Vigraha. So that is the real position of the Lord. But this Mayavada philosophy deals like this. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila. See, the Vaishnava philosophy we all know. Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, and all our Vaishnava parampara, and what is the different the philosophies proposed or which was there from the disciplic succession like that. So about that also we will discuss in this. So the first point, So directly the verse 3.3. First point is need prior purification by prescribed duties. Need prior purification. That means you should do this, you should do that. In the Mayavadi sannyasis, you should start one charitable trust, and or you at least you should do dhyana yoga. You should go up to the stage of Brahma Jyoti. How long the person artificially can stay in that stage? All these things. So by prescribed duties, and here what is the Prabhupada use this example? What is the subhava or property of that particular item? Say for example, what is the property of water? Water means it should flow. So don't restrict artificially, right? So here, okay, that is also okay, but you understand this work in devotion or Vaishnava sannyasi. This process itself purifies, right? Here there is no question of thinking of result, all these things, because see, unconditional love. I am not going to in front of the Lord. Oh Lord, give me two masal dosa. Oh Lord, give me this. Oh Lord, give me that. So Vidura Prabhu gives this example. When Ambani comes in front of you, you will not ask 1 lakh or 10 rupee like that, because his level is ultimate. In terms of wealth is concerned, right? Nobody will go and ask some silly things. You give me 10 rupees or bring me one chocolate or something like that with Ambani. So Ambani's position is so. Likewise, see, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead has got very higher purpose for us, but we with the lack of sense we go and so this process itself purifies. That means when we, for that also you come to me, but that process purifies when we go to that stage. That is the karma yoga. Karma yoga means nishkama karma. Next, 5.2. Simply jnana itself is insufficient for liberation. Okay. This example, say husband and wife, when husband comes from office, it is applicable for both. Wife, watching something, on TV, then
Looks like Prabhu's connection has gone. We'll give
I
him
think he's gone on mute by mistake. Prabhu,
No.
you're on mute.
okay. So
Oh, you're right.
now all of a sudden, there is a error report from the screen share what I was doing.
Okay.
So anyway, I will stop that screen and I will just proceed. And from the 5.2 verse, simply jnana, insufficient for liberation, right? So Prabhupada mentions, yoga means, to connect, and yoga means not going to Himalayas and sitting in an idle place and doing, some meditation, all this. Prabhupada mentioned very clearly, action is must act in status of soul, not in the body, right? One should eat, right? So how one should eat, prasadam. And here in this artificial, restriction, there is a risk of fall down. So where in the Mayavada sannyasi process, risk of fall down is there. Success guaranteed, entrance into God's kingdom. Prabhupada always assures, hold my dhoti, I will take you to Goloka Vrindavan. Right? So that is a result of work in devotion. Salpamapya dharmashya. That means you do very little devotional service, you will be protected from biggest danger. So success is guaranteed and entrance into God's kingdom in work in devotion. But it is not guaranteed in only renunciation and only Mayavadi sannyasi. One more example I'd like to give here. When Ford CEO, Amrish Prabhu, what is his name? Alfred Ford, he came to Krishna consciousness and he approached Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, so I would like to take, sannyasa. I wanted, get into a renounced order of life. I want to leave all this Ford company and everything. I want to leave and come. Then Prabhupada explained the same concept to him. No need to renounce your work, right? Still, you are being a nishkama karmi. So through nishkama karmi, you can be a sannyasi, right? Prabhupada, told this. And another contradictory example, one old man, he came at the age of 75 or something. Prabhupada, I enjoyed all my life. I fulfilled all my desire. All my children are settled. All my so bank balance is everything, I'm safe. Now I want to come to Krishna consciousness. Then Prabhupada refuted. No. See, this is not the mood, of renunciation. That is like, Mayavada sannyasi. So here, Prabhupada refuting for two reasons, right? One is for Mayavadi and another one is work in devotion. So here he is not refuting, he is giving more clarity to a devotee what is the meaning of work in devotion, right? So that is, what is that? Risk of fall down in renunciation, but here success guarantees entrance into God's kingdom. In the next difference, incomplete renunciation. The same slide is available in WhatsApp group also. I have posted. If anybody wants to follow, you can open and see. And 5.2, complete renunciation. So incomplete renunciation. Here it is 5.2 only. Here it is complete renunciation, to use everything for Krishna. Right? We can understand simply. Complete renunciation. Right? To use everything for Krishna. I am not doing anything for my sense gratification, to please Krishna's senses. Right? All this Navavida Bhakti and everything. Krishna is Atmaram. Right? Only for our purification we are holding strongly, Gurus and Krishna's feet. So this is complete renunciation. This other Sankhya philosophy and the Mayavada sannyasi, all these things are so as we mentioned, Brahman realization and Paramatma realization. Yes, we can go by that stairs, but there is a danger and that path is not good. Say, I was hearing one lecture when Mataji was telling. So every day I goes to office. Due to this, some BESCOM people and highway department and some PBMP or some drainage, maintenance people everywhere, they dig something and they keep it open somewhere and they disturb. My sailing or my journey is not smooth sometimes. And sometimes if I travel by highways or some, toll road or something, I feel so happy and so comfortable. So that is what one should understand. This life is full of, all this duality. But only the devotee can understand within this, where we are. So that is very important and that should be, understand by a devotee. And find the root. Find the root is Vishnu, and here in work in devotion, water the root. So here we are watering the root, and there we are just find the root. Yes, we have identified the root. And Prabhupada is telling, no, that is not sufficient. Come on, my dear devotees, come here. There are so many varieties, and you don't go and ask Krishna, oh Krishna, give me this, oh Krishna, give me that. No, you just water the root, hear about Krishna, and know about Krishna. Then automatically everything will be once if you water the root of the plant, it will reach automatically. You don't want any separate, process, everything. For many youngsters, Prabhupada says, you come and have prasadam and dance and play some, instruments, right? So this is like, watering the root. Engage your senses. See, I am a youngster. I want to engage my senses. So I want to participate in Ratha Yatra, get into all devotional, activities, all those things. Here, there are so many facilities available, right? You can purify your senses. Obviously, Lord is Atmara. And in 5.5 verse, process is to detach from matter in Sankhya philosophy or renunciation. Process is to detach from matter. And here, become attached to Krishna. Yes, detachment also good, but this senses should attach. I cannot be without eating. I cannot be without singing. I cannot be without dancing. I cannot be without reading. I cannot be without, some action, So for that, this process, become attached to Krishna. Yes, don'ts, I agree. But what about do's? Vidura Prabhu gives this example. Some, localites come and ask, Prabhu, ಈ ಸಂಡೇ ಬರಕ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಾನ್ ವೆಜ್ ತಿಂದಿದೆ ಬರಕ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. Vidura Prabhu says, you have one more piece also, doesn't matter, right? First you come to temple, you come and get involved into this. This is become attached to Krishna. That is important. But this process of detached from matter. And another example Prabhupada gives. I am a vegetarian, so I am so very what do you call very nice person. I am a very saintly person, like that. Prabhupada gives goat also vegetarian, pigeon also vegetarian, and monkeys also vegetarian. Nothing proud about that. In what mood you are following is very important. So that is another example to understand this 5.5. The process is to detach from matter and become attached to Krishna, work in devotion. That patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakta praise. That means, everybody, we all celebrated, in the entire, Indian mosque celebrated Ganesh Chaturthi. Yes, it's okay. But one should be mindful, with what? Become attached to the Supreme, right? Otherwise, okay, I do this, I do that, keep on, climbing on so many steps. Krishna says here so clearly, right? Sarva dharman parityeja mamekam saranam vrija. Surrender unto me, right? He told very straight away. So that is become attached to Krishna. And in this process, going to Himalaya and sitting in a cave and doing some meditation or Brahmajyoti, realization, yes, it is okay, but there is no happiness. You will not get varieties, right? Suppose I like, some particular devotees, kirtan and whatever comes from their mouth, that is devotional. I like, because my senses, my ears want to hear something nice, right? So I engage my senses into this particular way. So that brings me happiness, right? The dry philosophy will not. Oh, I found that husband and wife example I told. No, so sorry, I didn't finish that example. Husband comes from office and she says, hi honey, I love you, like that, everything. Yes, everything is okay, but then that, just get up from your sofa or your place, go and serve him, give me your dress, and there is a sweet in the kitchen, shall I offer you some prashadam, right? Getting into action, right? That brings happiness, right? Only renunciation, yes, I love you, all these things will not. If you write sweet in the paper, will not give much taste. The mood is okay, but which will not give any happiness from that. By serving, the person will get happiness. That brings happiness, work in devotion. That is there in the 5.6 itself. And then next is, senses restricted cannot release transcendental devotional service. Here senses are restricted. Don't. No, don't eat non-veg, don't, this one. So all ritualistic, follow in this renunciation. Here, senses engaged perform multiple devotional activities. Right? Here the senses are engaged. All our senses are engaged in, Krishna consciousness. You can see many Matajis, drawing, painting, and all the children engaged with, the painting work. The Krishna Fun School, if you see, all the children engaged with, sloka recitation. Whether they know the meaning or not, whatever the Mataji says, these children also, recites along with the Mataji. So all their senses completely get involved into this. There is a perform multiple devotional activities. So there one can release, but in this renounce order, or in this, Mayavada Sannyasi order, there is no, what I can say, senses engagement. Here senses are restricted. So there is no taste in that. And in this same 5.6, renunciation takes many births. and here quickly achieve Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why many birth? Because I have come up to Brahma Jyoti. Okay, that is welcome. I am climbing the stair. Still, I have to climb the stair to reach the 10th floor. But here it is not like that. Prabhupada states straight away, hold my dhoti, I will take you to Goloka Vrindavan. Try to, get into this Krishna consciousness movement. Right? Then study Sankhya philosophy, and here study Srimad Bhagavad. So the Sankhya philosophy says, keep your eyes open like this and all this process. And here Srimad Bhagavatam will give how the pastimes of Krishna and the bhava, right? Krishna is a bhava great. So whatever the mood you associate with Krishna, Krishna also will respond to you in that mood. And most important points, Mayavada, right? That is called Sariraka Bhashya on Vedanta Sutra by Sankaracharya. So here, the Mayavada philosophy, they will not accept like how in Krishna consciousness or how Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, the Dvaita philosophy. See the Shankaracharya, Vedanta Sutra will tell, Krishna also came here and he is also Maya. He has come from Maya and he is also suffering here. Krishna Papa, he suffered, but they accept Krishna born, for Devaki and Vasudeva and everything they accept. But in the meanwhile, they speculate like this. Krishna also, like you and me, their mind is their speculative mind is Krishna also like you and me. Prabhupada says always, they will not accept, Nirakar. Prabhupada gives this, example. They believe only in Nirakar, right? That means there is no form for the Lord. How Vrindavan, how the pastimes of Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam we are studying, but that mood will not be there in this, what is it? Sariraka Bhashya. They speculate, and they also read Srimad Bhagavatam, and they also accept, Vishnu and Krishna is, supreme and everything they'll tell. And they will tell everything is, Nirakar. That means everything is, there. Oh, you are also God. I am also God. Worship me. I am also God. They end up, there. So that is a problem with this, renunciation or Mayavada sannyas. And may fall down to philanthropic and altruistic activities. Right? May fall down to philanthropic and altruistic activities, but in work and devotion, have multiple engagements in devotional service according to Panchakratic regulations. That means, see here, there is an activity. So based on regulated activities, but there is no may fall down only a philanthropic and altruistic activities. That means going and standing. You are also God, and Krishna also like ordinary person. In that philosophy, that means what is that? Dvaita. Before Dvaita, Advaita. Dvaita philosophy we know, and our philosophy is Achinta Chinta Beda Abeda. That means qualitatively same and quantitatively we are different. So they all, intelligent class of people, those who understand the scripture as it is without any interpretation. That is most important. So otherwise everything, okay, you are also God, I am also God, this street stone also God, and you are also God, like that philosophy. So there is no perfect understanding like this devotional service. That is Nishkama Karma. So here the conclusion of the 6th verse ends. There is any questions, if there is any sharing, most welcome. Hare Krishna. Thanks for the opportunity to all senior devotees. Hare Krishna. Thanks for watching.
Very, very nice session, Prabhu. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, thanks for your understanding. Hare Krishna.
So nice class, Prabhu. So 3-4 verses, so difficult to uh, manage all that within the given time. So I think you did a good job. So the point, the sixth verse, you nicely tabulated. Basically, whatever is there in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhu saved time by not going through that, but took it in a chart and brought out those things. So just want to highlight a couple of those things. Uh, okay, first is when he talked about, he said, I am one of the sannyasis, which is not true. I aspiring, maybe, one day I will become like, with your blessings, I will also become. I'm not there still. So that first point I need to clarify. The second point that you mentioned there, I just want to little bit elaborate on. The point that you mentioned there, you said, right, the first point in the chart, to be more clear, the chart, 1 second. Okay. So the first point you mentioned, right, needs prior purification by prescribed duties, while process itself is purifies for the thing. So see, the entire concept, again, I'm just summarizing. Prabhu, actually, you did a nice job, actually. I'm just trying to, so that, sometimes when you repeat the same thing, then our understanding becomes a little more stronger, right? Sometimes when we hear, we feel like we understood, but when we repeat, it goes into our head. In that sense, I am trying to repeat for myself and for the audience also. So the point, I think, the whole sequence you explained very nicely from 1 to 6. Arjuna's question is, you told both, how come that, which is better, you tell me precisely. Krishna says, better is Karma Yoga. Okay. Now, third, fourth, fifth, sixth is actually to establish that point. He's speaking, you mentioned that very nicely. So I'm just summarizing, repeating what you said, Prabhu. But I'm just putting it in one line so that, it goes directly into that thing. So, but then he's starting from the point of, because Arjuna had it in his mind that is better, right? I mean, see, it's from the questioner's point of view. He is thinking, you said like that, but why are you putting me back into the fighting mode? So that means he feels that is better. So now you need to get there, bring it as equal, and then take the what you want to say as higher, so that it's clear for him. So he's establishing, yes, both are good. If you see third, fourth, if you read in isolation, someone like a Mayavadi can take the fourth verse alone and then keep on saying that, both are same. Bhakti Yoga is same. And you read fourth verse, it's very clearly, Krishna says, only the ignorant speak of devotional service as being different from the analytical study of material world. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. Katam. No need for Bhakti Yoga then. If you are more focused on Sankhya, you will completely reject everything by just reading this fourth verse and say, where Krishna is saying this only, why are you insisting you have to do Bhakti Yoga? Forget it here. You guys are all biased. We need to do Sankhya. Sankhya is, he explained, right? It's knowledge, that is Jnana Yoga, or it's more about, trying to speculate, whatever. So Krishna is saying, Bhagavad Gita, but then you don't read the front and next verse. So Krishna is trying to first bring Arjuna to the platform. Yeah, you said right. That is better, you mentioned. Yes, correct. That is good. Both are same. If anybody is trying to differentiate, it is wrong. He puts him in that platform first, brings him to that, sometimes when we are having argument, first when I say, yes, Prabhu, you are right, then you first come down, is it? And it's logical, psychological, right? The minute, see, we say no, when you are saying something and I am saying something, I say no. The minute I say no, you are immediately more in the fighting mode. But the minute I say yes, and then I put in my argument, you are already, when I say yes, psychologically you are listening to me. See, that's what Krishna is doing here. If you really see, so he is trying to tell him, yeah, what you said is right. Yeah, both are same. But then he takes what he wanted to stress, he's taking it to the higher level in the next verse. You get that, right? This beautiful psychology here. Krishna is just bringing it both in level, acknowledging what Arjuna is saying, then highlighting to him why Bhakti Yoga is better. From there he goes into the fifth where he is saying, one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study be attained by devotion, can be attained by devotional service. So first he is putting that in higher platform. But actually, that can also be attained by bhakti yoga. That means he is promoting that, you see, can be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be one on the same level, sees things as they are. So he's now he's slightly promoting this to say, yeah, that is true, but this is also good. Then he says, next he is putting the nail on the thing where he's saying, merely renouncing all activities, that means Sankhya Yoga, not engaging in devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. Now he's trying to make him, this has got one additional point which is not there in the Sankhya philosophy, or what do you call it, in renunciation of work. So now he's bringing the devotional aspect higher, and in that context, Prabhupada is summarizing, which Prabhupada beautifully put it in the so difference between these two. In that, the first point what he mentioned was, first, for the analytical or Sankhya philosophy or following the renunciation path, there is supposed to be some pre-qualification. That's the point which we need to stress on. When I say pre-qualification, for example, you want to follow the yoga process or whatever, you need to be a celibate first. Then only you come. When you say yoga, in that renunciation order, actually not anybody and everybody will be allowed to be a disciple. If you see, they will give initiation to people who have actually become complete celibate. Means the others are all, okay, you come participate in the puja and go. But who's really considered a sannyasi is one who's actually practiced celibacy. He has to sit on a deer skin. There are many things which you and I can never do today. If you sit on a deer skin, then you will be put in jail also. Right? Where did you get this deer from? Where did you shoot it from? So there are so many practicalities which cannot work on, and that's why, that means that then you say, okay, this is not for me at all. This is for some people who are there. So others are just there. They go there, simply take their blessings and come. That's all. Those who are supposed to be sannyasis, you go there, take their blessings. So please give me some blessing. I should become a nice graha. I should have a nice house, nice car, because that is all I am capable of, because I don't have the pre-qualification. The first point that is being talked about, because I don't have, I am in the married life, I am doing whatever, my work, whatever like that. So I am not qualified in the first place. So I seek your blessings. Let me enjoy what I am doing. But here it says work, the process itself is purifies. So that is beautiful. So you have to understand the end result and the process to attain the end results are both the same. That's absolute, right? When you say God is absolute, that's it's very deep point actually. The end result and the process of attaining the end results are both the same. Which means as you are doing devotional service, you are already in Krishna. You see, it's not like, after doing this you will get to Krishna. As you are doing Kirtan, you are in association with Krishna. So there's nothing called first pre-qualification and then do. But the minute you are engaged very happily, singing, clapping, dancing, appreciating, you are already into that sannyasa thing. Maybe you will come out a little bit when you get into some material activity. That's okay. But you are there already. It's not that you have to spend one whole lifetime to prepare yourself and then go to Himalayas. Sitting at home, you can be in Himalaya. Right? That's the point. That's very beautifully said. Now, extending that, you keep on going. That chart is very good actually, Prabhu, Achyuta Prabhu. I think we can just have a very good understanding of those people who are trying to argue, no, everything is God, we will, it's better, no, why to go to temple, let us do it, at home, work itself is God, those kind of things. If you really see this, that one practically brings the logical, realistic way of understanding, and also puts very clearly why Bhakti Yoga is better. One other point of this I wanted to highlight. He says, right, takes many birth. In that process, what I said, no, you have to spend lifetimes to get to that point. But here, quickly achieve Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Krishna says that. You see the last line, but a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the Supreme without delay. When he kept mentioning, Prabhupada said, take my dhoti and go, right? So it's just, what he was trying to say is, Prabhupada gave this process that anyone can follow and you can go back in this lifetime only. You don't have to wait for many, many lifetimes. That's what Achyuta Prabhu was trying to stress there actually. When say Prabhupada says, it's not like, you don't do any devotional service but hold Prabhupada dhoti. What he's saying is follow me. Follow him means what Prabhupada is saying you have to do. And then Krishna says quickly you will go and Prabhupada is giving that guarantee. I will take you, you follow the process. You follow the process, in this lifetime I can take you back. So many times we say, no, how can we go? Yeah, we can also go. So that's the, it's not just to, playing for the crowd. Sometimes we say, make some statements just to please the crowd. That is not, it's Krishna is saying here. Prabhupada is not simply saying. Prabhupada is saying because Krishna is saying that. So that's the point that we need to understand. And last point he was saying, may fall down to philanthropic and altruistic activities. What is he, when Prabhu explained it, I wanted to clarify a little bit more. What do this meaning of this? You may have seen many people who are supposed to be renounced, the sannyasis in the other order. If you see, they will only start off this educational institution, hospitals, orphanages. You understand that? You have seen many heads who will be in that, saffron. So for them, like he very nicely said, they don't bring the personal form of the Lord. They are seeing Lord everywhere, right? In that sense, they may be. But in the process, we may get lost. It's very difficult, right? If you are not having that very clear focus of the Lord. But if you are looking at it as everything is one, then you are sometimes lost into that everything and forget that purpose of why you are looking everything as that. As a representation of the Lord, that will go off your head. You will be, like so many times, when we have in an office, when we sit in a meeting, we all know what is the objective of we are trying to achieve in that meeting. But then, when we get deeply engaged, it becomes between me versus you. I look at, this point which I am trying to say, so we are so much lost into that passion and forget the end result, end goal of both of us sitting in this meeting is to achieve that point, right? In office, nobody is divergent in that objective. When we sit in a meeting, our objective is to take forth the company's goal further. And that is the common goal for both of us. But then why do we engage in a thing? Because we get too much attracted, too much attached to our process, and that same thing happens in Mayavad, or if you say, I don't want to use too much Mayavad word, those who are only thinking what you call renunciation is the best way to do it. The thought is noble, but the path is ridden with problems. That's what Prabhu was trying to achieve. Was stress. Now, when you get into that path, it's not very conducive. You get lost in that process. So then, therefore, the philanthropic and all of that you get into, and you forget that why are you doing this philanthropy? You are more caught up into establishing better and better institutes, making this the number one in the state, number one in this one. Whether the prime minister will come, the chief minister will come. You are more into that rather than seeing why. And those you are doing philanthropic work, you do not give them any spiritual awakening. You will see that happening. They will be more and more encouraging them to be whoever is the subject. Like when you go into the schools, those children are given more materialistic propensity so that they become more materialistically better off. Right? The institute has to do well commercially, right? That comes only through good positions that the students get from that college. You get it, right? Then your purpose is to take them closer to Krishna, but here you drive them away from Krishna. So there are so many pitfalls in that process, and therefore it is not something which is very favorable. The idea is, but on the other hand, if you are really thinking I am doing service to Krishna by serving humanity, then you should be actually giving that message to all these people more and more, and also making them in that mood. Not just 1% or 2%. If they want, let them take it. No. Our focus should be to just give it to them in that order. Right? That they don't do, right? They make them commercial and all that. So you see, this is very... but on the other hand, if you are focused to say that, this is like he talked very nicely. What is that word? This point you mentioned, right, Prabhu? That root and... what is that? See, he says, no?
Sankhya philosophy and...
no, that example you gave, right? The point to mention, watering the root was find the root, Vishnu, and here water the root. So there, in the renunciation, your thinking is first. You are not accepted anything as supreme, right? For you, everything is common, right? He mentioned that. Then what is the journey about sannyasa to find that ultimate truth. You get it, right? But in your case, you are already found the real purpose, but now you are developing that further. That means you are watering the root. He is searching for the root, but you are already watering the root. That means by doing devotional service to Krishna, you are already, so that means you are one step ahead already. I mean, this is very deep. If we really get into the thing, see, their entire purpose of renunciation is to find out that what is that ultimate, what is the supreme. You ask them, they will never give a direct answer because they don't know, because they're still searching. They will say, yeah, you know, this, that, and all that. If you ask here, Krishna is the supreme personality, Katam. We know that. A child will also say that. You ask Gopesh, he will tell, okay, whether you are saying either realized knowledge or not realized knowledge, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, when your son says 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, he directly says 4. Does he need to do any further research? He knows it is 4, right? He starts off from that point. But if you say you have to keep on doing researching to come to the point of 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, it's waste of time. Because that is already established knowledge. Why will you have to waste one more lifetime to establish the same knowledge? You know, there's one other beautiful example, right? There was one guy who was able to walk on water. So he spent a lifetime perfecting that art. So then he displayed it to everybody. Wow, you know, see, I did such a great job and all that. One other common man came, oh, this one, you just wait, see here. He will take a piece of wood and then he will go over it. He will say, see, you have spent a lifetime to just not wet your body, but it is already available. Take one wood and cross the river. Now, why the hell did you waste so much of your life for this thing? I mean, you get it, right? See, it's already established science. Why you have to reinvent the wheel? It is already established that who is the supreme personality of God, what it is. Just to take that boat, then you are one step ahead of this fellow who is wasting a lot of time. So that's important. That fifth point. I mean, whatever is the last point. And then Prabhu talked about, last I will close with that. He talked about Advaita, Dvaita, and then he talked, our philosophy is Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. Actually, this is actually harmonizing all the other thoughts, if you really see. See, the first one says everything is one, right? Advaita. Everything is one. You and I are the same. And whoever is so-called gods or incarnations, they and us are also same. That is more of an empowered, but then that what is in the body is what matters. Like what is in my body, what matters. But once that person leaves, say Krishna dies, right? You know, they talk about Krishna dying. We never talk about Krishna dying. Right? They talk about Krishna dying. That means as a person, he is also, but empowered maybe. He is more realized than me, but at the end of the day, me and him are the same. This is their thought. So their point is everything is one. Okay. Then the second one is, no, everything is two. That means that is different, this is different. So this is the two sides of philosophy. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, or whether he is basically harmonizing both, is Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva means, Achintya means what? Inconceivable. Achintya, Beda means different. Abeda means oneness. So he says it is inconceivably one and different. Both points matter. It is different, but also it's one. Right? But how come it is possible, sir? Either it has to be one or it has to be two. But he says, that is what you cannot conceive. Achintya. You will understand. But that is the truth. Because Krishna, while he is here with you and me, actually he is in Golok Vrindavan. He is not wasting his time sitting in this Ashashvatam Dukkalaya. But then he is sitting within your heart and my heart as Paramatma. Right? So he is basically not here, but he is also here. But how is it? You and I cannot conceive how he is doing that. This is the logic. So this is very beautiful. So it's harmonizing. We are not rejecting either people who are saying oneness is what it is. Neither are we rejecting people who are saying both are, it's different. No. We are saying both are simultaneously one, at the same time different. Somehow we are not able to comprehend it. That is, so we are actually harmonizing both of it. We means it's not like, my philosophy or Prabhupada's philosophy or like, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself, from whom everything emanates. So he is actually behind this. Like Krishna has given so many 700 verses. One other verse is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's verse, Achintya Beda, Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. So that's something which I wanted to add to give clarity to the whole thing. It's not that we are against Mayavad or anything like that. No, it is just that each philosophy has a point of view, and how we differentiate each in what terms, and then we have to choose what makes sense for us, right? According to our um, whatever it's our desire, we will go wherever we need to go, right? It's very strong. But then the logic, the what do you call, the ammunition is there. It's for us to use the way we can use it, and ultimately the intelligent person will be able to understand and take the right path. So that is what it is. So with that, I will stop, and just highlighting a few, picking up a few from that thread, and then
bringing up the summary, as a common.
Yeah, in few lines, so that that entire thing, elaboration brought it down to a little bit. I think so. Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks for the wonderful class. Really wonderful comparison between the two. And chart is also very helpful. So very nice example. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
So that is a Bhakti Sastri manual material. So
Yeah. See, everything is there. It's just that our job is to compile, in the right verse, we should use the right material. So that way, credit goes to you from that point of view.
Nice, Prabhuji. Nice. Well used. Hare.
Hare Krishna. Nice. You seem to be on time this week. Should we close? Unless someone else has any other points. Today, less devotees here. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, we will close with that. Thank you very much, Achyuta Prabhu, and all the devotees for participating in ISKCON Seshadripuram's Extension Center, the West ISKCON West program for Sunday evening program. We will look forward. In the meantime, happy Krishna conscious week to go. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna.